Welcome to another episode of Can Blue, a hockey podcast covering the New York Rangers and the Montreal Canadiens. I am the Rangers host, Ben, with my co-host, Brendan. This is episode 3, week 3. And for all you loyal listeners, today is Brendan's comeuppance day. The day has come. To recap, we had a wager that because the Rangers were playing the Canadiens, whoever won was going to have to wear the other team's jersey and say something nice.
The whole time I have to wear the jersey?
Yeah, the whole episode.
Yeah.
And
as you can see, I'm not too excited.
say something nice about the player that they're wearing.
Right.
So leading into this, of course, I have number 20, Chris Kreider, one of the all-time great Rangers. Numbers going up in the rafters, and Brendan gets
Probably
the honor.
One of the worst Rangers.
Brendan gets the honor of throwing this on.
Okay.
And saying something really nice about him.
This is awesome.
So, here you go.
Yeah, thank you. I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay, well, let's put it on first.
Let's see how it looks.
Yeah, I can already tell. You look great in the blue and red.
Let's just
man.
hope I don't drop it on the floor.
Yeah, that'd be a shame.
Oh, my God, dude.
I can tell.
Me putting this on, I'm like,
hurting you.
yeah, this is hurting.
Is it burning your skin?
Pretty much. It's hurting my soul. Oh, man. I only wear this if I was seeing the Rangers play against, like, some random team, and I was invited by you to the Garden, but...
No, because you actually wore a different one. You didn't wear a number. It just had the old Liberty
Right, that's
jersey.
why I felt a little okay, but...
Okay, so now...
Yeah, let's...
He's got Kreider on.
Let's get the number on,
He's turning around. And what do you have to say to the good people out there? What do you have to say?
Back in the, the 2015 playoff run, the Habs played the Rangers. Good series, I would say. Solid effort. There was an incident there that took out Carey Price.
Yep.
And turns out, I guess Chris Kreider was accidentally tripped, and he did not.
Wow.
He did not hurt Carey Price deliberately.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy coming from a Habs fan. I can't believe you admitted that.
You know, it's hard to, see the both sides of the story, and clearly he was tripped prior.
Agreed. I totally agree.
Prior to the incident. So.
I'm so glad we see eye to eye on that now. That's amazing.
It is. So yeah, that's.
What's gonna hurt more is to recap this Canadiens-Rangers game.
That too. Because that is in the present day, and it was not. It was
just
not fun.
as bad.
It was pretty ugly.
So, do you have any thoughts or takeaways? It's kind of like, I do feel a little bad. I wish it was like a contentious game, but it was really over in the first 4 minutes.
It was not competitive. Over in the first 4 minutes. I don't even know what to say. Just, we played terribly. There was one of the worst goals I've ever seen given up.
Okay.
And
break that down.
I think you know which one I'm talking about. It's the second goal, the Rangers goal. Our Habs thought it was, a icing.
Yep.
And there was a whole miscommunication. They were waiting for the call. It didn't come, and then the Rangers guy comes in, passes it up to Brodzinski.
I think Brodzinski, yeah.
And just like Monty's just like
not.
He was with the other guys thinking it was also icing, so he's just not ready.
That
was a terrible
That's
goal.
just a play to the whistle. You teach that in Pee-wees, like to play to the whistle.
Yeah.
It was definitely a close call, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, it kind of looked like an icing from the jump, but he definitely beat it out. It wasn't like a bad call on the ref. It was just like kind of a 50-50 play.
Whether it was
an
icing or not, this is the bad part. These guys need to be on their toes, and regardless. Like, there was also 3 of them in that corner. It's like, what do you guys? It was pretty. Yeah. And when I saw that, and then the next couple minutes when more goals came, I'm like, all right, well. That's it. It was over before it started.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, and I was looking forward to like a big Monty game, and like the only way I could see the Rangers losing that
Monty pulls up.
is if he just pulls what he did against the Leafs.
Yeah.
Just like 40 saves, and the Rangers can't find one. But the Rangers just had the momentum, they had the speed, they knew how to play against a young team that, I think even the first goal, it was kind of like rushes down, back and forth up and down the ice. Like I think Lane Hudson and some other guys had a good chance on Igor, but then, a turnover, a big save led into a turnover, and it was kind of an odd man rush down, and that was Zibanejad's first goal in the game. So
yeah,
it started like
Mika
a little
started
bit.
scoring all of a sudden.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still not great on 5-on-5, and the power play has not been good. Even though we have that star power play potential, I think the top power play unit is like 1 for 18 in their last, whatever.
Wow.
6 games.
Yeah, that's pretty surprising.
Everyone's calling for Lafreniere to be put on the top line over Mika, which is an interesting thing to do.
Sometimes you got to mix it up.
I agree, but it's just like these guys on the top unit have like definitely earned that spot for being the
but
top
you can
one. But if
lose
it's
that
not
spot.
working, you're right. You're right.
I would say, though, I mean, for this game, we had Slavkovsky out and Gulli out. So we were
that's
down
true.
a couple big guys.
I saw that from the start, and I was, again, I wanted a better game.
I knew it was either going to be, like, high scoring or just, like, very, like, 1-1 type situation.
Yeah.
But I was hoping for that 1-1 type thing, and we got the former. But Suzuki actually got his first 2. I think he scored twice.
He got 2, yeah.
So he got his first two of the year, which is great considering the circumstances.
You need your big guys to step up in those moments, though. And I think he was producing. It's just hard.
Defense just like crumbled. This game really showed us that like we're not even halfway through the rebuild. I mean, I'm a pessimistic fan, or like in terms of my expectations. Like I'll see it when I see it, when we're ready for a playoff spot.
Yeah.
But this shows us we have a lot of work to do, and a lot of progress.
So the thing is, though, like when do you declare the rebuild done? Because is it making the playoffs? Is that rebuild is over and we can start to add? But like
you could consider Buffalo still in a rebuild, and they've been that
borderline.
for like 5+ years.
I feel like though, like the Rangers for the Canadians, the Rangers, it's a hard measuring stick because Rangers should be one of the top 4 teams in the league this year. I think that's pretty. Yeah,
that's a fair statement.
So you can't measure the Canadians that haven't been in the playoffs in 4 years or whatever.
Yeah, you can.
To the top 4. Like, you can't expect that to be the measuring stick. I think a measuring stick game would be, hey, can we beat Ottawa consistently? Can we beat, like, the lower half of the teams consistently?
Yep.
And then can we beat, like, a team that is expected to make the playoffs but isn't expected to be, like, a juggernaut?
Right.
If you can consistently beat those teams, that's when you can start to move out of the
how I
rebuild.
know is that if we're competitive with, the Leafs, Boston, every once in a while, the Rangers or someone like the Panthers.
Yeah.
If we could win one game from Panthers or the Rangers, 1 or 2 games throughout the year, then I'd be like, okay, we're competitive.
How many? So.
And if we stay above 500.
Yeah.
For wins, right?
How many wins do you have this year so far?
Because like 3.
2 or 3, and it's been 6 games or so. 6 or 7.
7, 8 games, yeah.
So you're right around that 500 mark.
Right below it, like a little below it. I mean, could be worse.
Yeah, I don't know what the other teams are that are below you right now, though.
The same old usual suspects, probably. Buffalo. I'm only guessing, actually.
Scoring.
I haven't checked.
Yeah,
Utah
sure.
dropped off.
They were hot, though.
Maybe Edmonton.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, they started so... Well, the Sharks,
and Nashville, too,
also.
which I'm surprised.
Yeah. Well,
Stammer hasn't even scored for Nashville.
Yeah. Well, I think Nashville started out with 3 or 4 losses in a row. The Sharks are 0-7, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
So they're obviously terrible. But
no, don't tell me they're going to get Hagens or Hagens.
Yeah, probably. It's crazy. I mean,
so they're pulling in an Oilers pretty much.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so with that game,
Rangers.
the Rangers-Canadiens
Yeah.
game, I mean, goals galore for the Rangers. Suzuki had a big one, but a big two, but couldn't pull it together.
He can't be the only one, as
No,
you
of
said.
course.
Like, yeah, you got to get the secondary scoring
Of course.
going.
There was a play where Marty was really pissed off about something. Oh, it was the hit. It was the big hit, the Trouba hit on Justin Barron. So, what were your thoughts on that? I know you're gonna say that it was a dirty hit and it was high, but like if you rewatch the hit, his elbow is tucked. He's a big dude, so he's up there.
Yeah, but
and
his
he's
shoulder
going.
still hits him in the head. Like, even if it's not his elbow and it doesn't come up, his shoulder hits
So
him.
how are you supposed to have a game that has hitting when?
Yeah, but it's a shoulder to the head.
But
like
it's-
I honestly think a hit to the head should, I don't know, be called every time, no matter how small or big it is. Like, that might sound like a hot take, but like it gets rid of the ambiguity. You know, it's like I want it to be called like a high sticking play, whereas it so a hit to a head is
Yeah.
is a penalty.
So the way that they do it is preliminary or point of contact, first point of contact for body to body. And that's how they determine to give a penalty or suspension or not. Principal, that's what I say. Principal point of contact. So if they determine that shoulder head is the first point, it's automatic. You'll get fined, suspended, penalty, whatever. But they review it. That's why they took that call to New York or Toronto or wherever to review it.
Right.
And then determined that the principal point was body to body. And that's why he didn't get fined or suspended. That's what they said. You
I
saw
don't-
something. You might have
okay,
seen something
so
else.
what? Yeah, because I think we're talking. Well, I usually separate it in my mind. Whatever the player department of safety does, I think is honestly sometimes separate with what actually happens on the play. Whatever their admission is, or their judgment is.
Yeah.
I don't think that's final, really, in my mind. Like, because you'll see it. You see it when a hit is a hit, or
So
when,
the
or when it's
problem
dirty or
is
not.
with hits like that, and I'm sure Jack Eye also has hits that toe the line. They're big dudes, and a lot of these smaller or even like
He had his head down, to be
Yes.
fair. Yeah.
yes,
Like,
they have their head down. They're watching a pass, and also the way that people skate is that they're bent knees and hunched over a little bit, and so like when you're passing and looking, your head is going to be naturally lower. So for these big 6'3" defensemen stepping up on them, it's always going to be.
yeah, I just don't like citing height and bigness to be the problem.
No. I mean, it's just it's
Because
an
Trouba
unavoidable.
is one of those players in the league that people don't really like, because he's been known to do a few, maybe the same type as Jack Eye. Not many people like him, but we love him. But
He's a
the
guy
team
that
he plays
everyone
for loves
wants
him.
on their team,
Right.
but
But
yeah,
he
for the
has
most
been
part.
suspended, and he has done dirty hits without getting any repercussions, and that's why it's annoying to see it again this time around when there's no call on the ice. I'm not even asking for a suspension.
Yeah.
I'm asking for a call on the ice. Because at the very least, that was a hit to the head, and maybe not an elbow, but I don't know, something like.
I'll agree to disagree. I think it was principal point of contact body. He definitely got his head.
Where's the body? So what part of the body did he hit?
chest?
So he hit with his chest.
No, he hit Barron's chest.
He hit Barron's chest.
Yes.
So you don't see any point of contact to the head.
There was one, but it wasn't the first.
Okay, yeah. See,
So,
that's
like,
where
that's what I'm
I would
saying.
disagree with you.
No, that's fine. We can disagree, but that's what the league thought. That's what the refs
like,
thought.
okay, when you think about, okay, you're elbowing, let's say you're elbowing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Principal point of contact is the stomach or the chest,
Yeah.
but then you go up like that. It's still.
Yeah, that's an
as a-
elbow. That's
Yeah.
different. This was a hit.
But
I would agree with you there. If he went in, point of contact with the elbow in the chest, and then went like this, yeah, that's a penalty. He should get suspended. But it wasn't. It was elbow
shoulder
tucked.
to head.
No, because it wasn't. He didn't do an upwards motion. He just went straight through him.
I don't know. I think hits to the head should be called. That might sound
Okay.
like me
Any hit.
me
Doesn't
being
matter if it's
part of the
principal or
group.
not.
Yeah, it may sound like me being part of the group that's like making the league more soft. But, I mean, I don't know. Concussions are serious.
So did he get
potential.
out? Was he out for at any time? I don't think so, Barron.
I don't think so either.
I think he played the same game, and he just like kind of got shooken up and then got up. He definitely looked dazed off the hip, but then I think he came back in. I mean, that doesn't mean he didn't have a concussion. He might have just been like, yeah, I'm fine.
Head stuff should be taken seriously.
I agree.
I don't know.
I agree.
And also, maybe I just have a bias because I don't like Trouba, but
yeah,
I definitely don't like Trouba.
Listen, he is not playing.
I'm just glad someone stepped up later. Matheson fighting him.
Yeah,
right?
but he got a penalty from that because.
Yeah, it's fine. It's
Okay.
it's about it's a matter of principle.
It's culture. Yeah,
it's
principle.
It's a principle.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
principle, point of contact. Principle of fighting.
Of the values and how you fight back.
So, what I was going to say, Trouba's not playing at the $8 million value that they have him signed at.
Signed for $8 million.
Well,
for how many years?
Back in the day, he has a year. He has 2 years left.
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
But
I thought it was like more.
he is playing this year. He's playing better than he did at the end of last year. He's not hurt anymore. He's not noticeably.
I liked him on Winnipeg better.
I mean, he had a 50-point season in Winnipeg.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
I think though, like if this is the Trouba we're getting, that we don't notice him being outwardly bad, that's the Trouba that I will take. And if he's a bottom pairing or like a second pairing defenseman, I'll take that 10 times out of 10. Speaking of defensemen, so we had Victor Mancini in for this game.
Oh yeah, he scored.
Yeah. He's great coming up the pipeline, getting him like meaningful minutes in NHL games, and like he's been playing so well that they sent what we thought was going to be the sixth defenseman, Chad Ruhwedel. They signed him.
Who is that?
So he came over. He came over in the trade deadline last year from Pittsburgh, and just as like a veteran guy that they know can play like good veteran defense and not produce points. But Mancini and Jones have been playing well enough that the Rangers brass think, you know what, we can run with these guys and develop them further. So they actually sent Ruhwedel down, or they waived him, and then he cleared. So he's in Hartford now, which I think is great because you have Lindgren coming back into the lineup. So you have these 7 defensemen, but 2 of them are, one's Zach Jones, who's not technically a rookie, but he's very young in his NHL career, and then you have Victor Mancini, who is a rookie. So getting those guys, because you're probably going to get rid of Trouba, and you're probably going to have to say goodbye to Lindgren at the end of this year, if he wants a higher number. Yeah, it's great to get these guys their ice time and like see what they can actually do.
Yeah, that's one of the most important things that we messed up in the past with our rookie or prospects is just not giving them enough ice time.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to just send them down. Yeah, we're doing that with Joshua Waugh right now. There's openings in the lineup now because like injuries are coming in.
That's how it works.
Yeah, they need their ice time in the AHL. It's low key. Like even Caulfield did that.
Yeah.
At some point.
No, it's the way. Like especially, it's a way to get them legitimate top line ice.
Yeah.
Like, and if
and
they
like
don't have
responsibility.
that, yeah.
Like,
and if they don't have a pathway to that on the NHL team, that's why the AHL is perfect. That's a perfect segue into Matt Rempe. They sent Matt Rempe down as well.
Yeah, but what do you expect him for him to become? Like a Tom
better
Wilson type guy, or like
no. So Tom
scorer?
Wilson's gonna make Team Canada. Like he's gonna be on that team.
Really?
Yes. And so for the Four Nations, that's happening.
Are there not better options?
No, they love him for that team. Even he's not gonna be like top line like whatever, but he's going to be. He's
probably going to be.
He's looking to make that
17th
team.
man.
Either way, the Four Nations is coming up this year in February. It's going to be awesome. It's in Montreal and Boston, and it's Sweden, Finland, U.S., Canada. But everyone, like the talk of the town is that Tom Wilson is actually going to be on that team, which I always thought was just a little crazy because I just know him as the rat guy who just goes out and actually hits people dirty.
Been like an option, honestly.
Yeah. But to say that Matt Rempe, I don't think his ceiling is anywhere near that. Like I think it's way less, way under.
So what? He's like a jack guy, or on the squad.
Honestly, you look at Adam Edstrom on the Rangers. He's our other fourth liner. He's, I think, the same height as Rempe, but he's a better skater. and he just like more heads up with the puck, and that's why he's on the roster now and not sent down. I
Right.
think like that is what Rempe can become. He just needs to work on his skating a little bit more. He hits well. He needs to just stay, in the clean area of hitting and not
Right.
go over to the dirty side. You can play on the edge, but
Unskillful hitting.
yes, I would say so. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. But he does like make defenders and forwards, look over their shoulder, which is something that we could utilize. But he wasn't getting any playing time. The fourth line is actually doing pretty well with Carrick, Brodzinski, and Edstrom. VC's going to come back in a couple days, so it just makes sense for Rempe to get sent down and actually get some ice time instead of just sitting up in the box.
Yeah.
So that was another just big kind of roster move that happened that shocked the airwaves. But I do think this is a little bit telling, like maybe Rempe Mania is over. Maybe he had his 15 minutes of fame and he won't get called up again.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. It might be. I mean, it seems like you got better guys in the lineup right now.
Yeah.
That is working well.
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's going to depend. Like if there's injuries to the bottom six, I would expect him to be brought up because we have other forwards though that are skilled forwards that we don't want playing fourth line minutes in AHL.
Yeah.
That if a top six guy gets hurt, we'll call those guys up. But I think bottom six, Rempe should be probably the first guy up because he just knows the guys to slot in before, has those minutes. It's interesting. So that is game one.
Yeah. Tough loss. I mean, more than a tough loss. That was just miserable.
Yeah.
Miserable for us.
I think January is the next time that they meet. If not, there might be an earlier one, but I know we're going to Montreal for that game.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
That'll be fun. Hopefully at that point, they can turn some things around and have a better showing.
Laine will hopefully be back. I think
That's true.
I think definitely.
And they'll have
be back.
Slav and they'll have Gooley hopefully in the lineup.
Hopefully they don't get injured.
So-
Where's the wood? I don't know.
Knock on wood, quick.
Yeah. Quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that should be fun. It's always fun to be at home and go to a game.
Yeah. Bell Center's rocking.
Yeah. Bell Center's
I love the atmosphere there. So
Yeah. And wait, your seats are pretty good, huh?
they're fine. I think it's probably second bowl. It might be high again.
In the
Remember last
nosebleeds?
year? Last
Yeah,
year we
in the
were like
nosebleeds.
way like the last row. It was awesome.
Yeah, we were.
So I was just saying how good Brendan looks in that jersey. Wow, I can't get over it, man.
Let's go.
Yeah. You gonna convert? Come to the winning side?
Never. Never. I could honestly say even if I stop watching the Habs, which I don't think will ever happen, I could never convert to another team. So
You're a true fan.
I'm a Habs fan for life. I mean, that's just the way it's gonna be.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So going on
And it
to
kills me every second I wear this.
Oh, yeah, I
That's
know.
why I'm like a
It
little.
burns-
I feel stiff.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm just like.
burns your skin a little bit,
Yeah, I'm just
get it.
like.
especially because it's Kreider.
I just feel it just feels so wrong.
Oh,
you know?
it'll be over soon. You're good.
I'm like, I do feel like I'm betraying the squad. You know, it's fine.
No, you're making
But
good on a bet. You're
yeah,
making good
I'm
on a
making
bet.
good on a deal.
You're a man of
on
your
a
word.
bet.
Good karma is coming your way, I think. So moving on to game 2 of the Rangers this week against the Florida Panthers. Really,
Ooh.
we were talking measuring stick
Yeah,
with the
we
Rangers
were.
and Canadians. This game for the Rangers is the measuring stick. We obviously have history. We lost to them in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. I think we were up to.
And it's pretty much your only competition.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
You're one of
Yes.
the competition to
Yes,
beat.
yes.
You know,
I mean, and we were up 2-0 in that series and just got, dominated by depth and 5-on-5 pressure we just couldn't handle. And unfortunately, it was more of the same in this game on Thursday night. It was just
So where did the goals come from the Panthers?
one of them was very early on. I think it was Lundell, but it could. But it was.
He's playing really well.
Yeah, I mean, it was a couple minutes into the game, and he just like rifles one in, and it was like a good play. But you also think it wasn't like a right in front of the net battle where like we didn't pick up a guy. It was just like, okay, they're working hard and they got a goal in. Okay, it's gonna happen. And honestly, like the Rangers team of the last 3 years, they've been great about coming from behind and battling and getting back into games. So I was still confident. Like that's the level of confidence I have in this team that they're, if they go down 1 or 2 even, they can come back. They're like the 2024 Mets. They can come back late in games. But they just didn't have it. They weren't able to produce anything. They had one goal off of newly extended Alexis Lafreniere, which I'm definitely going to talk and rave about because, wow, what a contract and extension for that guy. But it just, it just seemed like they dominated us again. It was kind of more of the same from the series last spring. And big thing, a lot of our guys just kind of disappeared. Like, where was Mika Zibanejad? What did he do that game that actually made a difference? And they didn't even have Barkov. So it's like, the big storyline last year was, we put Zibanejad up against some of the best defensive forwards in the league, and he vanishes. And I understand, okay, you have Barkov, he wins the Selke. Like, now he's going to win way more because Bergeron's out of the league. But Barkov wasn't even in the game. So it's like, how many excuses can you make for these guys? They show up against a team that's struggling like the Canadiens, but when you play the Stanley Cup, the champion of last year, they disappear. And if that is the trend...
Yeah, they flip on a switch when it comes to matchups like the Rangers.
If that's the trend, this is the game you circle early on in the year. Like, you look at the other teams that we've played, and we have obviously won every single game, except for the Utah game where we took it to overtime. And that was a come-from-behind thing. Mm-hmm. This was the first real test matchup. I think the Leafs, could have been, but they have their own total cluster mess
they got
that
their
they're
own
dealing
problems,
with. So it's really this game that you should be circling,
Yep.
Game 7, Game 8, whatever it is of the year, our first real test. And they kind of just laid an egg. They, didn't really do anything to win the game, to win the hard game. And you'd think that they would, maybe they got complacent because they've been winning and they just thought it's just going so well for us. We can play our game and do it, but they got dominated.
Do you think it was a mind thing more than anything?
These guys are all competitors. You got to think that they're going out there and this is our time to, really prove to ourselves, to the league, that we can play and beat this team. But they just got outplayed and beat 5-on-5. It wasn't like
there was no loss of, passion or skill. Not lost, but you know what I mean. Energy. The energy was up.
I think energy was there, but even Laviolette after the game, he said the Panthers were better than us in the first period. They were better than us in the second period, and they were better than us in the third period.
So it was just that, yeah.
They're just better still, and they don't have their best forward, one of their best forwards. Yeah. So it's okay, I do think Riley Smith is an upgrade on the top line with Zibanejad and Kreider. I think the Lafreniere, Trocheck, Panarin line is still a great 5-on-5 line. I think you have Hedl healthy, and that line with Cooley and Kakko has been one of, if not the best line in the league for expected goals for and goals against. They've been a top producing line, and they don't give up anything. And you still can't play well or can't beat the Panthers, an injured Panthers team. So
you got to be sharp when it comes to those matchups. When we used to be winning, when we lose to Ottawa or another no-name team, we're just okay.
You hear that, Ottawa? No name.
We're just okay, no, that's fine. You have to lose sometime, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to Boston, the Leafs, we're you're okay.
Oh my gosh, did you see that
game? We need to win this. Yeah.
Boston, Toronto?
Yeah.
Did you see the overtime?
No, I actually
muffin?
didn't see that part.
Okay. So, and we'll bring it back to the Rangers game, but I just watched the replay of, I think it was 3-3 going into overtime. Captain Matthews behind the net just pizzas it. Basically, weak shot to try to get it out of the zone. Doesn't leave the zone, just goes off the boards. A Bruin comes off the bench, and it's a 2-on-0 basically, and they score and win in overtime. It's
love it. Yeah.
What is happening?
I actually like it.
They lost to Columbus.
Yeah.
They lost to the Blues. They were both favored heavily in those games. And then same thing. They come out against a team that
but Boston is actually a good team.
Yeah, but but they've been struggling, and that's a measuring stick. Hey,
yeah, it is.
Can we beat Boston? Because guess what? You're probably going to see them again in the playoffs. Can you? No, you can't. And that brings us back to the Rangers. Why? And you're right. You can't expect the Rangers to win 82 games. Obviously.
No, it's not that, but
it's just if it was a close game,
when it comes to those matchups, you want to be sharp. Like
Yes.
you want to see
And
it
they weren't.
too. And
Yeah. and they weren't. And it was, if it was 2-2 going into the third, and then the Panthers make a great play, I would be deflated, and I'd be like, God, they still just have our number. But at least they put up a good fight.
you don't have to score a lot. Just
No.
like be defensively
Yeah.
tight. Like lock it down.
It just wasn't good enough, and I don't know what's going to be good enough for them. For the Rangers, I don't know what's going to be good enough for them to make it past the Panthers. I do think it's a weaker Panthers team this year, but clearly we don't have the answer yet. So I'm sure we play them again, maybe 1 or 2 more times this season. But I'm going to really be, me personally, circling that game to pick apart exactly what they need to do. I mean, it's just like, again, Igor was good, letting up 3 goals. I think it was a 3-1 final. It's like defensively we didn't give them too much, but when we gave them something, they scored.
They took advantage.
You have
yeah.
Verhaeghe, Lundell, and I think Reinhardt score. It's just like their guys are showing up. Where are our guys?
That's a good middle six. That's like a very good middle six. Yeah.
So it's frustrating, but it is fun because it gets you to, it picks apart problems in your team. I actually see this in the Pee Wee team that I coach. If we go out and beat every team by 10, it is that they can't work on anything. Our team, right? Like, it doesn't really benefit anyone.
Right.
They can't learn, they don't get challenged, they don't develop their skill. So if the Rangers go out and beat every team 7-2, yay, we're all happy, but it's a little boring. And
when it comes to real adversity that comes along, you crumble.
Yes,
potentially.
exactly.
Yeah.
So hopefully this game will open their eyes a little bit, say, hey, this is actually
it's a
where
learning
we
moment.
got picked apart. And I honestly would rather have lost to the Canadians because they took the night off and they just weren't into it, and then come out against the Panthers because they knew it was a tough game and dominated.
That's what I was saying.
I would like that better, I think.
Like the Canadians right now, they're not like a playoff threat. So if I was like one of those top tier teams, we could lose to them, but we can't lose to these other teams.
The thing is, and that's a dangerous thing for me to say, I think, because you don't want to lose to the teams you should beat. A good and great team should beat the teams that you're supposed to beat.
Right.
But I would understand, here or there, kind of like the Leafs, right?
I would just say you care about it more when you're up against the Panthers, though.
Yes.
It means more because
I think it means more.
Yeah.
So it was tough, but, it happened. Losses are going to happen.
Gotta learn from it.
Hopefully there's only about 20 losses this year for the Rangers. They go on to win.
I miss those days.
Be a top team again, get a good matchup in the playoffs, and take it home. But really, just little things we got to work on. I do think
they do. I will say.
Yeah.
The Rangers window is here.
It's here now.
It's here. It's been here.
This cores window especially is here. I don't think next year there's going to be some moves. Drury has made that very clear. I think Trouba and Lindgren will be gone. That'll shake up the core a little bit. I don't know their ability to
be honest,
trade
I don't
other
think
people.
they would do too much.
I think the thing that I've been seeing though.
Panarin,
No, agreed. Their forward core is pretty much completely locked. But I think about this from a human perspective. All these guys love Ryan Lindgren, and Trouba is their captain. So getting rid of your captain and getting rid of a big locker room guy.
Well, then keep the locker room guy. Keep Lindgren.
The problem is, if he wants, and he should be able to, go get more money. He has a $3 or $4 million contract right now. If he wants more than that, the Rangers should not give it to him. They can't, especially if they're paying Igor 12 or whatever it is.
Yeah,
but
here's when the salary cap stuff is really.
Well, this is what's so
messy.
interesting about I love the cap, not manipulations, but I love figuring out and figuring out a way to fit everyone under the cap. It's really cool. It's a cool part of what how a GM has to run in the NHL. But it's just going back to the human aspect. Schneider, I guess, apparently drives to the rink every day with Lindgren, and they're just tight boys. And Laffy and Lindgren are super tight. Fox and Lindgren are super tight. That's hard, man.
No, it is tough because we had a couple losses, locker room, not even just locker room presence that are are boys with everyone, but just also really good players. I'd say Monahan was one of them. Tyler Toffoli, Philip Deneau, like those guys, really good players. I actually loved it when Toffoli was on the squad when we made that run. Like I loved him.
Isn't
Everyone
he the
loved him.
anti-vaxxer?
Is he?
Wasn't he? Was it him or Bertuzzi? I forget. I always get them
sound
mixed
like
up.
Toffoli.
I always get them mixed up.
Why?
One of them.
They're completely different.
One of them was
it's definitely Bertuzzi. Come on.
It could have been. It could have been. One of them was on a Canadian team.
I gotta look it up.
Okay. One of them was on a Canadian team. And couldn't travel and wasn't allowed to go into the States because he like didn't get a vax or something. It was pretty, and it was like a big thing.
Was it on the Habs?
It was either Habs or Leafs or Flames or something. I don't know. Those guys I always get them mixed up though.
Dude, it's definitely not Toffoli. That doesn't sound like him. That would be awkward if.
It might be Bertuzzi. It might be Bertuzzi.
Dude, it sounds like Bertuzzi.
I don't know.
Because
I think it's
Bertuzzi. Well, no, he was on Detroit
I don't know.
before.
Those guys.
Toronto.
I don't know why I just mix those guys up.
That's a weird mix-up. Not gonna lie. Yeah. But yeah, no, like we lose these guys, like, and yeah, maybe we get a good return on the trades, and yeah, maybe someone could point out like a trade tree that led to like I don't know, a Lane Hudson type person. But anyway, yeah, it's tough to lose those guys, and even Caulfield. I remember when Toffoli left, he was like, he texted him, or it was like showing like that he texted him. He was like, "Oh, I don't want you to go." And this is when Caulfield
sad.
Just like came
He's
into
like
the
18,
league.
Yeah.
And Toffoli's like, "Oh, I know, it's just part of the business."
Yeah.
And that's what it is, unfortunately.
It is. And that actually reminds me of one of the famous ones for the Rangers when they traded Zuccarello, which my favorite Ranger, I think,
He's still going.
Well, yeah, he's still awesome.
Yeah.
But when he was on the Rangers and he came over from Norway, and I think like the lockout happened, so he went back, and we weren't sure if he was going to actually come back to the NHL once the play resumed, but he did.
Like, that was 2012, I think.
I think so. Yeah. He just like embodied similar to Cole Caulfield, like and Marty, like we're both kind of shorter guys, and like playing hockey and being shorter, like you have this chip on your shoulder, and like to make it to the top level, and for Zuccarello especially, coming from Norway, being like one of the only Norwegian players that is playing at this top level, it's like such a cool, awesome story. So I always loved him. But him and Lundqvist were like so tight, super, super tight. And the Rangers at one point traded him. I think that was the trade to Dallas. I think that's where he went right after.
He went to Dallas?
Yeah.
Wow.
And Lundqvist, after like the game after it happened, like was crying in the locker room.
Really?
And he like gave an interview and he's like, "It's really hard. He's my best friend." And they just, now he's gone.
I was going to make a joke, but it's fine.
What?
I was going to say, well, Lundqvist cries about everything.
Oh, Mike, what do you mean?
You can just see it on the ice.
How?
He's so emotional. He's so emotional.
One of the best to ever do it. Better than Carey Price.
That's not true.
Why?
You know that's not true.
Why?
Well, statistically...
They both made it to Game 5.
No.
Of the Stanley Cup. That's their ceiling.
Our offense, even with Carey Price, was not good. And Carey
Our
Price...
offense wasn't good?
No, it was. It was definitely better than ours.
No,
Definitely better
dude.
than ours. Dude, ours was only Pacioretty and Desharnais. Come on.
Name a Ranger from that era that you remember.
I don't know. Chris Kreider?
Yes. Yeah, but he came in at like 2012.
Derek Stepan?
Dude, he's not like a top elite
Rick
player.
Nash? Yeah, he's elite. He was elite.
He kind of he has the Zibanejad like disappearing act. Though.
He wasn't Columbus elite but when he had a couple good years in the Rangers.
He was so good.
Yeah,
on Columbus.
for sure. For sure.
That's a guy that I just like don't think about as much anymore, but like he was so good.
Yeah. God. Yeah. I think the same for I think about Kovalev a lot.
Kobe, yeah.
Yeah. He played for both the Rangers and
did.
Habs. Yeah.
He did. Okay, so...
Yeah, what were we talking about?
No, I know. It was just that game, the loss, but we kind of brought in cap, fitting players under the cap, and I think that's a good way to link in the news of Alexis Lafreniere signing to 7 years. I think it was either 7.2 or 7.45, which either way, the reason I don't care about that $200K is because I thought he was going to get an 8x8, which... I would have also taken. Like I think, I saw people being like,
it's a hedge for the future.
It is totally a hedge for the future, but you also see his projection and his progression over the years, and he doesn't even get power play one time yet. He has been consistently getting better every year. He kind of like broke out in his own way last year. And so to get him tied down for those 7 years is an unreal value.
No, yeah, it's going to be
especially
positive, I think.
Especially with the looming Shesterkin contract. Because
you got to lock it down. Got to lock that down.
I was kind of just...
Screw Lindgren and everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, lock down your goalie.
Honestly, it should have been done
goalie.
Before Lafreniere, but yeah.
I agree, but I think what happened is, they gave him the offer of 11. He turned it down. They're like, okay, we're going to revisit this in a little. Let's get done a couple of the other contracts that we need to get done. I think...
Okay, so what if they win it this year? Then, like, he's going to ask for, like, 13 or 14. Like, what if they go deep, basically?
All right. I expect them to go deep. I can't say I expect them to win. I want them to win. I think they have a real shot at winning. Honestly, and, like, Dynasty would be all you can hope for. But if they win this year, it almost doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It almost doesn't matter.
So
you give him 7 years by $13 million, he just won you a cup. Yeah, I'll take that. I don't care.
Yeah.
He's still going to be Igor. The cap's going to still go up every year. It'll eventually be better in like 4 years.
I've always wondered what it feels like to finally win.
Dude,
and it's
I think I'll be a mess. I think I would like break down.
Yeah, I would cry for sure.
Dude,
I cried when I almost, well, I know, I think I did. When they made it to the Cup Finals, I was like, I've never celebrated that hard before. Like,
I've actually gotten close this year with the Mets. Like,
I definitely cried when they lost.
Dude, when the Mets, yeah.
I was like,
I don't know.
You know?
So, like, I never thought, I've always been, hockey's my biggest sport that I've rooted for, like, whole life. Never was super into watching baseball, but, like, also because I'm a Mets fan and the Mets have only made the playoffs 11 times in their entire, like, 60-year history. But this year for that run, just to bring it to that really quick, it was so electric, and they won so many games in, like, the last 2 innings that, like, I could feel it approaching the level of my Rangers fandom with the way that they were winning and so emotional and everything, and it was so fun. But thinking about the closest that I've seen it for, like, a team to win the cup and to see fans of that team or friends of mine that are fans of that team that, like,
and they're, like,
start
satisfied.
crying. They're just like, so for example, Casey, friend of ours, when the Caps went against the Vegas, I think was it either Game 7 or Game 5 or whatever it was when they won. I was with him at his house, and I, like, you see Ovi lift the cup, and I just see him start, like, crying and so happy. I was like,
dude, dude, it's giving me
that.
Dude, it's giving me shivers just thinking about, like, Suzuki lifting up the cup and like, So it's sick for the young guys, but think about, like, the older. It almost seems like the journey is the most exciting part, because once you achieve that, it's like, okay, what next?
It's the climax, man.
Yeah.
But, like,
I want to get to the what next, you know, like,
For me, like, it would have been if Lundqvist got one.
Oh yeah.
It would and Price for you.
Price,
like,
yeah.
It's like the guys that have been there and are grizzled and have, like, been just doing this journey, this road, this hard, terrible. Your body's broken down at the end of the playoffs and end of your career.
Quite literally, because after that run, he was done.
Yeah. So who's the guy on your team that you want to see it the most? Because, like, for me, if I see Laff hold it, I'm like, that's awesome. This kid's 24. He has his whole career ahead of him.
For me, definitely Galley.
Yeah. That would be
easily Galley.
I don't know if that's ever gonna happen, dude.
Yeah, I know.
But I know what you mean.
I fell in love with Galley because his name is the same name as me, and it was cool to see that on a Habs jersey.
Yeah.
And he is the most loyal player we have right now. So, I mean, has the longest tenure on the squad.
I guess it would have to be Kreider. If I saw Kreider right now, right? Because who else? There's no real, like, wily vet on the team. Like, VC would be cool because he was drafted by the Rangers, but
no, it has to be Kreider.
It's got to be Kreider.
Yeah.
He's always been the captain for me anyway, even if Trouba
I would have loved to see Weber and Price hold it up, though. Like, Webby, that was also, like, we lost both.
The
Webby
image
and
of,
Price.
like, your favorite player holding the cup up and, like, screaming and crying and, like, kissing it and giving it to like, come on.
Come on, guys. This is what we're fighting for.
That's what we're fighting for.
This is what we're fighting for.
Oh, my gosh.
I want to see it.
Oh, my gosh. That'd be awesome.
But we can't even make the playoffs.
And we can't even beat the Panthers. So it's, we may
That's
never
what I'm saying.
get
Your
it.
window is now.
Yeah.
And if you just a little more, a little
I
more.
know. We need something. A little bit of
We
juice.
have this. You guys have this.
Yes.
So it's exciting for you, but also a little nerve-wracking because windows close.
Yeah, they do.
We went off on a little tangent there, but that's all you wanted to say about the Florida game?
Yeah, it's really just you got to find a way to beat those guys. I think that's your biggest test all year, and that's going to be probably who you'll see in the playoffs. So you got to find a way to win.
Or Eastern Conference, or not Stanley Cup, but Eastern Conference
somewhere.
Finals.
Yeah,
somewhere.
Moving on to
game
two.
Game 2 of the
guess
Habs.
last game of the week.
Last game. We're not going to cover the Philly game, which is actually tonight on Sunday. We're filming this on Sunday.
That'll be covered in next week's episode.
Yeah, next week's. I asked for one thing last week, which was just a clean win, and we actually ended our 4 losing game streak skid, and we actually got a win against St. Louis.
Which, by the way, is got to be sweeter since Toronto just lost to them.
That is true.
I love bringing in just like kind of ripping on Toronto.
I did have hope. Yeah, I appreciate you for that.
At least we'll have some.
There's a
some good things.
I love how, there's a whole collective thing, even in our hockey group chat, where we just like laugh at the Leafs. And because I'm pretty sure no one on the Leafs, no one that we know is like really a Leafs fan.
I have like 1 or 2 Leafs fans,
really? Okay.
friends, not in the group though, not in our group chat.
Okay. No, it's okay.
We're good. We have a good system of knowing when to cut. It's all good. Do you like Brendan's jersey he's wearing?
What are you doing, Brett?
I lost the bet. Because the Rangers beat the Habs. Oh no, my brother sees it.
Sad. Not as sad as the Yankees last night.
Oh my gosh, that was crazy. I hate them so much. Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Damn.
That was hilarious. Dude. I was at one of Nina's like co-coaches' houses, and we were watching that game, and like they're big Yankees fans.
It was such a tight game, and then
they load the bases. They intentionally walk.
They bring in the new
and
pitcher.
And then Freddie Freeman just.
Dude.
Oh.
No, can you not do that?
Yes. Get him.
No.
Post it on social.
Don't.
Is it Dad? Oh. Wow.
Oh man.
Let's go, buddy. Come on.
That hurt. St. Louis Habs.
Yes.
Wish for a clean win. We got a clean win. I was a little nervous because we did have a 2-0 lead.
Was Monty in?
Monty was in,
Okay.
and we gave that up pretty much immediately, like the 2-0 lead. But before we get into that, Jake Evans, first goal of the year, solid pass by Armia in the defensive zone. See, and this is why last episode, I didn't want to shit talk Armia because there are moments like, he has great moments, like just like solid pass, tape to tape. Jake Evans it was 2-on-1, and he just snipes it in for his first. He's been really solid for us this year, especially again on the PK, even in this game. He just kills it. He's just a solid, steady guy. I've always been big on him since he played for Notre Dame, seeing his highlights there. I always wanted him to make the team, and I'm just glad that he's like, a steady player on the squad. I feel like, it's not someone we'll, trade away easily.
Yeah. Did I hear Doc also got his first?
Doc also got his first. He had the second goal of the game. Just a big relief, honestly.
Yeah. Need him to get going.
He had a great game. He got 1 or 2 assists from this game too. At first it looked like Logan Mailloux scored that, but it was Doc's stick that got in first.
Nice.
So yeah, up 2-0 from there. We quickly lose that, as I said, and this is where I worry.
But this is where you bear down, and this is like, a game that you're up, you should hold on to that and win, or get it back and win, and you did do that. But,
we did do that, fortunately.
Yes.
But I don't want to lose the lead so easily.
Yeah.
Because it happened within the next, 7 minutes. The first goal from St. Louis came pretty much immediately.
Yeah.
You're like, okay,
Here it
That's
goes.
fine, but
Yeah.
like, and
Well,
then you
two-
see that. Then you see the
Two-goal
two-
lead, worst lead in hockey.
The problem I also have been seeing is that we give a lot of 2-on-1s, 2-on-0s or like we're really caught back defensively, and like our opponent's offense it takes advantage of that, or has taken advantage of that, and we let that happen way too much. We need to be buckled down defensively and not be so caught up, too deep. So these goals came in pretty close to Monty, up front around the net, especially the second goal that we let up. Matheson it was 2-on-1. Matheson falls on the 2-on-1,
no.
but
jeez.
they dangle and miss, but then they get a rebound up in the left
Slot
corner
or
of
something? Yeah.
of Monty, and then buries it 2-2, and you're like, okay,
Donkey show.
it's happening again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then
It's happening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I hate how that's my first reaction. Like, I don't want to have that as my first reaction. And,
Young decor, it's gonna,
But anyway, we get a power play. Doc, right to New Hook, right in front of, who's the goalie? Binnington.
Binnington, yeah.
Who is a
Sorry.
contender for the Canadian.
Yeah,
goalie.
that's like the one spot that I feel like Canada might be hurting. Goalies.
Yeah, I
Right?
think so.
Like, they're gonna
I'll
have
say
an-
for sure, Monty and Binnington are not the best options. Like, have we had in the past?
I would play Monty over Binnington. I know he's
Really? Okay, that's interesting.
I don't know. Maybe it's just because I've been focusing on the Canadians because of this pod, but I feel like Monty's better. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a toss-up between them.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah, because like when it came to Canadian goalies, back in the day, our metrics is like Carey Price in net,
Yeah.
or
Brodeur,
who is the Florida Luongo.
Luongo, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you had so many options
Yeah.
when it came to Canadian goalies, and whereas now it's like, okay, I guess they're U.S. goalies or from Europe.
I think U.S. or Russia is the.
U.S. and Russia.
Yeah.
Well, who's the other Russian goalies? Varlamov?
Varlamov, Vasilevsky, Bobrovsky,
Oh, you're right.
Shesterkin.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
Ivan Demidov. Wait,
He's
no.
not a goalie.
No. I'm thinking of who's the guy?
Although we're so excited for him.
Sorry, yeah, I had Demidov on the brain, I guess. Who's the guy that's on the Flyers? He's massive. He's like 6'6" or something.
I don't know.
I thought his name was
Maybe I'll see him tonight.
Demidov.
Does he play? It's
Yeah,
not
he played.
Demidov.
It's something like that. All these OVs I can't keep track of.
Yeah, so New Hook, easy goal, because just a great feed by Doc. I will say, though, I don't think Anderson could have buried that, because Anderson had another rough game, great chances, but he just can't bury it.
Yeah.
Like, I keep saying it, and I don't want to repeat myself, and I'll probably stop mentioning Anderson until he scores.
Yeah.
Because, like, him and Dvorak are just, like, kind of burdens on the squad. I will say, it's like,
Yeah.
we don't expect anything from them. And it's kind of tough to have those types of players on your team. You want to expect something out of someone, or out of everyone, even if it's just a little.
Was Slav back this game?
No.
He's out for how long?
It was just a week.
Okay.
He'll probably be back.
So hopefully
Either
that'll
tonight
do
or-
the right thing and move Dvorak and Anderson down the lineup and won't, once you get more healthy.
Yeah.
They
I mean,
won't play as
although
much.
Doc is working well with the first line, and
That's good.
we're starting to see it. Maybe he's better as a winger instead of a center.
It's a little less responsibility, so maybe that's just
Maybe
simplifying
that's
the game.
Yeah, simplifying the
Yeah.
game. Maybe that's his game. Maybe the responsibility needs to be elsewhere.
Yeah. What? So did Caulfield have a monster night? I thought you said he scored.
Yeah,
a couple.
he got his 7th of the
Goal
season.
Caulfield
Just a nice
on his way to 30, road to 30, 40 even.
easily. Yeah,
I have easily.
Yeah, I think
Oh.
I definitely have a high confidence in him hitting 30 for the first time. From Suzuki, top of the circle on the right side, snipes it. Just a nice shot. I keep saying it. He needs to shoot like 10 shots a night.
10 shots a night, 3 will go in. He's
Yeah,
perfect. Yeah.
And he does it every night.
Yeah.
Because he's just so good. Like his shot selection and his like accuracy and his power in it too. He may not have the size, but he knows how to score.
Yeah.
And he just needs to shoot more.
You see that a lot with really high-skilled players. Like, I feel like Matt Barzal is a guy who, like,
he's having a slow start. And
he has had a slow
but
start
very
every
talented.
season. Like, when is it going to change for him? Like, he can snipe it. And I know if anyone watching is an Islanders fan or knows of Barzal and the Islanders, I feel like they would agree. Just shoot. Get Barzal to shoot.
You know what's tough to admit though?
What?
Maybe they're just on the wrong team.
Yeah,
And
it's true.
sometimes
Also-
I have asked that about myself. I'm like, what if Caulfield was on another team?
I
you
think
know?
here's the thing though. Like, I think you saw it with Kakko and Lafreniere at the start. They came onto a team that was already loaded, and they didn't really have a great path to be a top 6 player right from the start. I think that helps Caulfield a lot on the Habs. Like, he is the guy. So he's looked at as the guy. He's given all the top minutes, all the top experience and responsibility. And that'll, like, he's so young. When he's 30 and he's been in the league for 10 years, basically, he's going to be a monster.
Yeah, he's gonna be sick.
Still,
He's
like,
gonna be
more so than he already is.
Yeah,
But-
it's only it's going up, and
Yeah.
Caulfield has been going up. Suzuki's been going up
Yeah.
over the past 2 years, and they're keeping a good pace. Yeah, Suzuki's not scoring at a pace that we want, but like he's still putting up points.
I think
Suze is still a point per
he's
game.
the setup guy.
He's
you
the
know?
setup guy.
He's probably going to have more assists. Does he typically have more assists than goals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had like 40 assists last year, but he had a 30 goal season last year, Suze. So
That's sick.
Caulfield, I feel like Slav and Suze are the perfect setup guys for
Yeah.
Caulfield because that's been how it's playing out recently.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have very high confidence that he'll hit 30 goals this season. Like it's less than 10 games, he has 7. So it's pretty.
Keep it
it's
going.
pretty
Keep it
sick.
going, goal Caulfield. Love to see an American boy eat.
Yeah, yeah. Him playing on the American squad is going to be interesting too.
I'm really excited for
Wait,
Nations.
when is it?
It's in February. We should try to go to Boston
cool.
or Montreal.
That'd be cool.
I think our buddy could get us some tickets.
Really?
Gary. Yeah. Jack.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
The secret operative for
Yes.
the
The
NHL.
op. We'll see.
Yeah, so that was 4-2. We didn't, other than a couple of the, odd man rushes we gave up. Monty shut it down, or we buckled down defensively, and Armia gets the empty net, and 5-2. I have high confidence. So there's a couple teams where I would like to have confidence in being competitive. St. Louis is one of them. I'm pretty sure there's a stat on screen, like, for Caulfield specifically. He's had, like, I don't know, 7 goals against Binnington.
Oh, really?
like-
He just eats against him?
Yeah, on, like, 14 shots or
Yeah.
something.
He
Some
just knows
stat
where
like
to
that.
put it. Yeah.
Yeah, and he says, he plays well against St. Louis. And I've just noticed that we've won against St. Louis in the past.
Yeah.
And the Penguins were one of them, or at least to be competitive against. But unfortunately, at that time, as I said, yeah. But St. Louis is definitely a team where I was like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe we'll have a good game.
Yeah.
And we did. So
Speaking of the Penguins, to round out our Jari discussion, do you see he got loaned to the AHL on a?
No, really?
So I was looking into like what the rules are on this. He got loaned on a conditioning stint for like 14 days to the AHL.
no way.
So
That's
basically,
rare to happen.
It's
though.
rare. I think it happened to Jack Campbell
Yeah,
back
it's
in the
Jack
day.
Campbell.
But I think the reason they're able to do this
Campbell, like Toronto Campbell, right?
yeah. Well, Toronto, Edmonton, yes.
Yeah.
So the reason they're able to do this is, and the reason why they did it, the conditioning stint, it makes the player exempt from actual waivers. So like he can't be claimed by someone, but it has to be agreed upon by both parties. So the player has to agree to go down on a conditioning stint.
So he agreed to it.
He agreed to. I mean, he wasn't playing. So like, and he was playing, and when he did play, he played poorly.
Who's their backup?
They scratched him like a bunch of times. I think it's Nedeljkovic, and they have.
Nedeljkovic, yeah.
God, I keep forgetting who their other
But
goalie is. But
it's not surprising. He's not a good goalie.
no.
He's not a starting goalie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so they're going to put him down there. They're going to see, hopefully he gets his confidence back, and then he's going to, come back up. And if he still can't do it, they're going to trade him, or they're probably going to cut him or waive him. It's crazy. Wild.
Yeah, that is wild.
And then to finish out the Islanders talk, just because I saw this in the news like last night, they didn't allow any of the players to be available to the media, and Patrick Waugh also wasn't available to the media before the game, which is weird, and it's also against the rules. So I don't know what's happening there. I saw some
Some
NHL
locker room
maybe, and
gossip,
I saw some.
conflict.
Well, I saw some NHL rumor account, which I have no idea if this is true or not, but it'd be
Was
cool.
there some Corey Perry stuff?
No, no, it was not that bad. It was not Corey Perry. It was like rumors are that Waugh and Lamoriello are like going at it because Lamoriello keeps signing the same guys because he just extended Matt Martin, and then they called up Engvall and this other guy and basically what the rumor was saying was Waugh doesn't want to play those guys, but Lamoriello is basically saying you have to, and Waugh's might resign. That was the rumor. No idea if that's true. I kind of doubt it, but I know Waugh's a fiery guy, and Lamoriello has a very specific way of doing things, so you never know. That's interesting, though. That might be a big...
I never liked Lou. I would hate to have Lou in my organization.
I don't like him for the one reason. He doesn't let Matt Barzal rock the mustache. Have you seen him?
Dude, wait, so he has
He has a shaving rule and clean cut rule.
What the
yeah.
hell is...
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. I didn't
It's
even
hockey.
know that.
Yeah. So
What?
the reason I know that is I guess every year in preseason or before during camp, Barzal rocks a muzzy, and he looks like a stud. And I think 40-goal season inbound if he did that.
To be honest, but that proves my point. What we're doing in the Habs locker room and organization is having culture.
Yes.
Good team culture,
Yeah.
but not just on the ice stuff, but just personality and person-to-person business interaction.
Yeah.
And that's what was way different from the Mark Bergevin era, because he was kind of like a hard O2 when it came to contracts or business dealings. We have we're building that culture of a winning spirit, and when I see regression from that from other teams, I'm I feel happy in a way, just because to even talk about how you should wear your beard is just that shouldn't even be a
old
discussion.
school. It's an
too
old school
It's
way
too old school.
to run a business, and he wants to make it very professional, but it's also it's becoming way more it's new school now. All these guys are new age, millennial or younger.
But I'm actually, if I were the Islander fans, I'm happy if Waugh is fighting for
sticking it up. Yeah.
But unhappy if he's considering
I would be
resigning.
sick of Lou. I would be sick of Lou at this point if I were them. Moving on to the last game of the week for the Rangers against the Anaheim Ducks. I was kind of walking into this as this is going to be a cakewalk. It's the Ducks. They're worse than the Canadians, I think.
Yeah, they are.
They have Cutter Gauthier. They have some of these high profile younger players, but
Carlson.
They've never really stood out to me as someone to be worried about, I think for good reason. But they actually put up a pretty good fight. It was 0-0 going into the third period,
Wow.
which is
That's a first.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Especially these days in the NHL, goals are scored so quickly. Speaking of quickly, we did have Quick in net.
Nice.
So
Against Gibson?
I don't think Gibson played. It was Dostal.
Oh, Dostal. Yeah.
I say Dostal, but I heard everyone calling him Dostal. So Lucas Dostal.
Yeah.
Which both teams, played great. A lot of former Rangers on the Ducks. We have well, not a lot, but Strome and Vetrano are the main ones, and they're still buddy with Kreider's, Benjamin.
Is Vetrano a 30-goal scorer?
Last year, I think he was.
Yeah, that's pretty out of
and
the
he got
ordinary.
it was a contract year. I think he got signed $5 or $6 million a year. Good for him.
Good for him.
But so heated battle back and forth. It was kind of Quick made some big stops. I think Rangers didn't get crazy grade A chances, but they stuck in there, and the Ducks really made them work for it. But
they have a young D-core as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part.
And it's it was.
Well, with a bit of the old guard, Fowler's still there, right?
Yeah, Fowler's there. They have Killorn now.
Oh,
so
yeah.
he's grinds it out for them. Radko Gudas is their captain. Did you know that?
What? No
Former
way.
Panther Radko Gudas, captain. Oh yeah. So
Dude,
that's
I
a
did
team
not-
that I know it's pretty funny, right?
That is hilarious.
So
honestly.
that's kind of why I went into this game feeling like not really that moved or like worried, and they made us sweat it out a little bit, but good play in the zone, prolonged period of play in the zone in the third period, and Panarin just finds the full shielded Ryan Lindgren for a good like kind of one-timer
his
in the
injury?
slot. He broke his jaw, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, damn,
He like
okay.
got surgery on his jaw, getting into a fight in
But he scored.
in preseason though.
Oh, okay.
Like how stupid
Oh,
is
that's
that? Okay, so
Lining
my
got
take on
injured.
Lindgren, like I love the guy. I've actually met him in the city
Damn.
at a bar before. Like he just ran into him and was like,
Do you know
"Oh
which
my
one?
gosh." Yeah, at the Canuck, of course.
No way.
Yes,
Oh, yeah, I
yes,
think you remember you
love the
telling me.
Canuck.
Yeah.
If you're ever in the city, go to the Canuck. It's amazing.
The best hockey bar
It's
to go to.
Yeah,
They also
yeah.
have poutine, so.
They have poutine and they have Labatt's and Moosehead. So
Yeah,
good.
so good.
So, but he got into this fight in preseason, which is like, why are you even fighting? He was a big guy on the Islanders, and I think he just caught one right in the jaw, broke it, and
That's kind of hardcore, though, for the
it's
other guy
hardcore.
to... Yeah,
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I broke his jaw in a fight.
Yeah, it's crazy. But so, he goes out, and what that actually did was it allowed Jones and Mancini to get way more reps on the team and in the roster, so that's good, and I like that. But now they're shipping Lindgren out there as he's healthy, but he's got this full bubble shield on, and he has like
Nice.
pads on either side of his chin because his jaw is broken, which I think like, dude, I don't know. Give the guy a break. Like the Rangers aren't losing, going on a skid, and they need him to play. I was of the
Maybe he
give
wanted
him
to,
rest.
though.
And he definitely did. He definitely did. He's I mean, all these guys, like I said,
They
are
all want to, yeah.
massive competitors. But it's just like at a certain point, you have to make sure they don't get in their own way. Like he doesn't
Yeah,
need
just
to.
imagine a Trouba hit on that.
Yeah, I know.
No, then you call it.
Yeah, then
Okay,
you call it. Then
yeah,
you call it.
yeah.
But so whatever. I'll digress there and glad.
So Panarin passes it and he
yes,
scores?
Glad he was in the lineup because he did open up the scoring for the
Nice.
Rangers. It was kind of like Panarin behind the net, passes it out. It looked like it was going to be a one-timer from like Trocheck or whoever else was in front of the net, but it goes past him and kind of right around the hash mark area. Lindgren pinches in and scores. I think far side lower on Dostal. So great way to open it up, kind of late in the middle of the
third
way
period.
through the third period, and then shortly after that, I think it was at this point. It could have been a little bit earlier on, but Will Cooley makes like a crazy move, awesome deke, gets over and like kind of just like bats it and goes top shelf against Dostal, but it's called back for offsides.
Oh.
And it was like the play was such a beautiful, like, oh my gosh, highlight reel play, and then it gets called back. It's such a
Hate to see it.
buzzkill.
Hate to see
But
it,
that,
yeah.
dude, that's like the second or third goal this year that Cooley has had called off for offside. So it's really a tough.
Well, it's his line mates that are getting, unless he was the one that
No, I
initially
think it's
started
his
the
line
offside.
mates, but it's also like that line. Like I said, Cooley, Kakko, Heel has been playing so well together that like I don't care. They're flying, they're going. It sucks that they get goals called back, but like Kakko had a great one in one of the first games of the year that got blown off. I think it was actually against Utah. They got reviewed and waved off, and then Cooley's had 2 or 3. So I mean, keep going. Love the energy. Lucky enough, a little bit later in the period, Cooley is in front of the net and gets one. I think it hits his skate and goes in, and they waved it a good goal. So
Okay.
he had one waved off, but got one back a little bit later. That one
Nice.
was also reviewed, but thankfully he didn't do a
Reviewed
distinct.
twice. Yeah, he didn't do the
a
kicking
distinct
motion.
kicking motion, so they waved it a goal, and then that was the 2-0. The only 2 goals for the Rangers. A little surprised that the scoring wasn't higher because I think we could have feasted on the Ducks, but that happened, and then a couple minutes left in the game, like 4 or 5 minutes left in the game. It was 4-on-4, so I don't really fault, like, things are going to happen, right? Like, you have
Yeah.
way more ice. It's not a typical, style of play or, like, structure, and they just Ducks made a great play. I think it was, like, Terry or someone.
Troy Terry.
Just like, or Marchman? Is Marchman on that team?
No. Marshman's still in
Who's
Dallas.
their other younger guy? Not Terry, not Gut. He's like
McTavish.
Yes, I think it was Mason McTavish, actually, yeah. And it just, like, kind of off the rush, but again, a lot of ice with 4-on-4, off the boards, into the middle, great kind of one-timer, picked the corner,
Nice.
and 2-1. But, you know, a little bit of a flurry in the end of the game.
Did they pull
No.
the goal later after that?
No, yeah, they must have, but nothing.
nothing, yeah.
2-1. 2-1 final. Get out of there with a win. I think it was in Anaheim because they were wearing their, like,
They're in the West Coast.
they were wearing their, like, new, like, orange. I kind of like the jerseys. They're kind of,
Yeah, they're sick. I've seen them.
and yeah, get out of there with a win. Happy with it for the week, 2-1. Again, going to be harping on the loss to the Panthers, but keep beating the teams
Keep
you're
going.
meant to beat,
Just got to keep going, yeah.
and that'll get you to where you want come come postseason. So that's really it. I mean, I remember last week I had said, like, I really just want them to clean up in front of their own net. Relatively, you know, 2 goals let up against you guys, 3 let up against the Panthers, and 1 let up against the Ducks. Very low
Solid.
goals against,
Yeah.
and I don't think many of them were, like, right in front of the net, hammering away at the puck or, like, trying to get a rebound. So I would
They
say that's a
improved upon
win.
it, yeah.
And, you know, if you're going to hold a team to 2 or 3, I mean, it was 1, 2, 3, right? So that's average 2 goals a game. I think they can win. They have the power to do that. And I like that going forward. So keep that up. Keep the goals, I think, just for the next week. Keep the goals low. Find a way to contribute 5-on-5. If we play a good team that has, you know, a shot to be a top team in the league this year, let's prove that we can skate with them and beat them, and let's beat them at all periods and all lengths of the ice, because that's what we didn't do against the Panthers. That's my takeaway. That's what I think we should do for the next week. What about you?
Well, obviously a big L for the Rangers game, and especially a big L on my end, because that was a tough bet.
You made good on it. Good
made
karma
good on
coming.
it. But I had obviously a feeling in my mind. It's like, okay, it's the Rangers. We're the Habs right now.
We can do another bet for the next time they meet.
Probably the one where we'll go to.
Yes.
The one in January. But great win. I did say from last week, I just wanted a nice win, and we received that.
Okay.
And solid game too, just from new people that we want to see solid games out of, which is, you know, Doc.
Yeah.
People like Armia too as well. He had a goal and assist. And Jake Evans keeping it up, playing well for us, and once again reinforcing the idea that Anderson and Dvorak are a couple players that we don't want on the squad.
Yeah.
But we'll see what it is for the next coming games. A quiet week for us, but I think we have definitely 3 coming up for the next week. So
is your goal just
including
win?
today.
Get
Goal
it?
is just to, maintain the lead. Like, try not to
Yeah,
lose the lead if we
gotcha.
have it, and just buckle down defensively. Like, I'm not even going to think about scoring right now. I just want defensively to shut things down better, give up less, 2-on-0s, 2-on-1 chances for the opposing squad, just to buckle down defensively and be more mature on that end, I think.
Sounds good. All right, that'll do it for this episode of
Week
Can
3.
Blue. Week 3. Please share, like, subscribe, follow. Check out on Spotify and YouTube. We have the video on YouTube and the audio on Spotify, dropping every week around Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Sweet. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.